RCHUB International Foundation for Research and Education, an ISO certified.
Visible clearly, sir.
Okay, so well and good. Very good evening to one and all. So, as a start of the day, I just wanted to illustrate many important things, not just research methodology, because I personally see there are many mistakes with respect to research titles, objective formulation, and finally coming to the research methodology. Obviously, from the research title and objective and research methodology is where nearly 80% of the question will be posted to you during your Viva voice. So it is very much essential to know about how to frame a research title, how to frame the objective, and how to frame the research methodology, and what kind of right research methodology need to be adopted. So I tell you what, this is not complicated. This is very, very simple. The provided you should be in a position to unlearn to learn new things. So this, what I'm going to tell you right now is completely holistic and completely experience based. So let me start with the research title. See, we all know what the research title illustrates. A research title illustrates what is your study focus. It generally gives the reader what is your area of investigation. So the most important thing here is that, yeah, most important thing here is that four important thing what you have to take into consideration while you frame the research title. Many researchers get into a research that is completely unknown and that is completely out of their own interest. I tell you what, if you're going to frame a research title, you need to make sure that you have interest on that particular research topic. Second is the time feasibility. For every research we have a time frame, say 3 years, say 4 years, say 5 years. Some may take even 5 long years, but you need to know your own research duration. All of you must have a duration of 3 years. For some, it might be 4 years. For some, it might be only 2 years if you are an engineering graduate in our university. So taking this into consideration, you should also frame a research title or take a research title in such a way that you may able to complete your research in a given time frame. So if you could able to complete within 3 years, that's a great thing because you could complete on time or in time. That's very important, right? With respect to research, you no need to waste an additional 1 year or additional 2 years sitting on the very same topic, collecting reviews and once again framing the questionnaire and reframing everything again and again. That's not going to work out because you are the every time what you waste after your research time period is that you are wasting your experience. Because if you're going to get into a job in a university or in a college, obviously it is experience. Experience is far more important than you getting stipend, being a stipend scholar. So the second is the time feasibility. Third is the financial feasibility. Every research has its own financial viability. Say, for example, if you're going to collect a data from a particular respondent, say from an IT employees, you need to take a printout of the questionnaire. You need to circulate about 300 to 400 respondents. You need to travel sometime. You need to stay in order to collect data. So it costs you money. So obviously, every research has its own financial viability. And you need to check whether you are financially affordable for that particular research title, what you have framed. And the most important thing is existing reviews. You need to have at least some sorts of reviews in that particular topic. If you don't have, if you're completely getting into a completely unknown research which doesn't been attempted before, as a researcher, you will struggle a lot and lot in order to know what kind of methodology to be adopted, who is the right respondent, who from what kind of factors and what kind of variables has to be considered for the study. You will be completely confused. And if you have a research experience after being a research scholar and after taking up multiple projects, at that point of time, you may take an innovative research project. But as a researcher, I always advise to take a existing research and discover new things. That's very important. So when framing the research title, take these four things into consideration. First, you need to have your research interest on that particular research title, what you are going to frame. Second, the most important thing is that it should be feasible, timely feasible. If your tenure is 3 years, you should be in a position to complete that research title, what you have framed, the research topic, what you have framed in the given time period of 3 years or less than 3 years. That's very applicable, because if you can't do that, obviously the extended time period will waste your time and effort. Uh, and third is financial feasibility. While you choose a research title, every research has its own financial viability. Just have a glimpse over it, to whom you are going to collect the data. In order to collect the data, how much money I need to spend. If it's a secondary data, where all I need to go and get the data. So you need to work out on how much amount is affordable from your end, and whether the research title or the research topic what you are going to frame is affordable by your end. That's very, very important. And the next is the existing review. If you are going to neglect any one of these aspects while you frame the research title, you will be suffering a lot. Based on my experience, these are completely holistic. So I tell you what, these you can't get it anywhere in sorts of books or academics. These are experience based. So all these four aspects has to be considered while you take a research topic. So this is a very first aspect. So while you choose a research title, see to it you have interest. While you choose a research title, see to it it is easily feasible to complete within the given time frame that is given to you as a research time period. And third, every research has its own financial viability. Know whether you could afford it or what, because some may require scopus publication, some require international conference attending, workshop. Research is not without fund. You need to exploit some amount of fund to complete a research. So taking this into consideration, know about the financial feasibility of that research and the existing reviews. These are the four important aspects you need to know, you need to work out before you frame the research title. And the next, the steps in framing the effective research title is the following. The first and foremost is identify the key elements. That's very, very important, because until and unless you go through existing reviews, you can't find the key elements. And the most important thing is that while you frame the research title, keep it descriptive, keep the language very simple and clear for, and others for easy to understand. Even uh, the most the even the non-subject expert should be able to be in a position to understand what you're coming to say. That's very important. And try to incorporate the key factor or the key variables or the key factors into your study into your title. And most important thing is that don't keep it as a sentence, keep it as a title. That's very important, because sometimes I used to see yes, I mean, see the study title to be two line or 3 line big. That's not a title, that's a sentence. So make sure that you frame a title in a such a way that it's 1 or 1.5 lines, not more than that. And avoid ambiguity, because any readers who reads your topic should be in a position to clearly understand where and what you are going to do, what you have done as a research. These are the most important aspect. And framing the research title. This is very, very important. See, I tell you what, framing a research title is simple. As I stated before, all these topics are simple, but we are making it complicated. The thing is that the first is a subject. So, for example, when you conglomerate all these three aspects, you will be getting, or you may able to frame the research title. Say, for example, you all know what is a subject, various subjects. Say, for example, in management discipline, we have HR, production, marketing. Consider a marketing subject. In marketing, there are various topics. Say, for example, marketing mix, marketing strategy, market search optimization. So let me consider marketing strategy. So I have considered subject marketing and a topic as marketing strategy. And the industry and the sample respondent. The industry, the sample respondent. Let me consider a retail industry. So let me consider the sample respondent as the managers. Study area Chennai. So if you're going to consider all these aspects in this manner, in this same manner, the subject, topic, industry, sample respondent, and study area, we may able to frame the title effectively. For example, see, marketing strategy adopted by the retail industry in Chennai districts. See, we have framed a clear and clean research title. So we have mentioned what is our study factor, that is marketing strategy. We have mentioned what industry we are going to study, that is the retail industry, and the study area, Chennai district. So this is how we need to frame our research title. So the research title should basically, we need to find our subject of interest. And in the subject of interest, we have our own topic of interest. Select that. And we have our own interestable industries. Say for me, it's in the retail industry and IT industry. So select the industry, what you like, what you wanted to know more. So the most important thing, as I stated before, when it comes to research title, the interest is important. Because if I'm going to consider IT, if I'm going to consider say for example, a healthcare industry, reaching out those employees are time consuming. At the same time, it's going to cost me a lot because everybody is a doctors and a well reputed employees. So meeting them and getting data is not timely feasible. So I have selected industry that is timely feasible. So I have chosen the retail sector. So marketing strategies adopted by the retail industry in Chennai district. In case you can choose your own subject. Say, for example, your subject of interest is HR and your topic of interest is selection and recruitment strategies. Say your industry, your favorite industry is IT industry, and you're going to study in say Kodugu district. So now you can frame the selection and recruitment and selection strategies adopted by the IT industries in Kodugu district. So this is as simple as framing the research title. So very apt, clear. At the same time, it will clearly illustrate what is your topic, what is your industry, and who is your sample respondent, and what is going to be a study area. So as simple as this. So when coming to research title, the first and foremost is that you need to have the interest and you should make sure that it is timely feasible. You may able to complete your research on time or in time in your given time tenure. Third, each and every research has its own financial viability. Check whether you are financially affordable for that particular research and also make sure you have some amount of existing reviews. So these are the first and foremost thing you need to consider before you take a research title. Once you have considered 5 or 6 research title, you need to frame the research title. In order to frame a research title to look in better way, first choose a subject and topic, choose the industry, and choose a study area. You frame it, you will get your research title. Very clear. So coming to the objectives, the second part. So is this clear, ma? Okay, so is it uh is it clear as of now? See,
Yes,
what I'm speaking is out of my own research experience. Anyone, please respond or at least chat, ma.
yes, sir, it's clear.
What is it, ma?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Okay, so coming to the study objectives. So coming to the study objectives, I see many mistakes when it comes to study objectives. I tell you what, when it comes to study objective, I see there is no flow in the study objective. When I particularly see the study objectives, I could clearly say whether he's a good researcher or not a go out of mediocre or worst. So when it comes to objectives, we need to make sure there is a flow. In order to have a flow in objectives, we all know what is the objective of the study. Objective outlines what you are aiming to research or intended to achieve through your research. That is what is the objectives. So how an objective flow has to be? First, it has to start with a broad exploration. First, you need to study. That is what is the broad exploration. You need to begin with a study and understand the concept. Say, for example, say consider the previous topic, the study and understand the marketing strategies adopted by the retail industry marketing strategies in context to retail industries. So that is what it should be your first objective. And then you should narrow down to the factors. So then to identify the factors and variables associated with the study. And then you need to conduct an in-depth analysis, or you need to perform analysis, or if possible, you need to estimate, and then finally give the conclusion and suggestion and recommendation. So this is how your objective flow has to be. So in order to have an appropriate or good objective flow, I suggest this thing. That is, start your first objective with to study to study the marketing strategies in contact with retail industry. Then the second objective has to be like to identify the factors and variables associated with the marketing strategies in retail industry. And then you need to go with the next thing, that is to analyze the marketing strategies dominantly adopted by the retail industry. What is it, Ma? Students? Okay. So coming to the third thing is the to analysis, then to estimate the impact of marketing strategy on the profitability of the firm. So like that, to estimate. And then using the review of literature, you must have identified some research gap, yeah, unknown area that is not been studied. So make that as your fifth objective, and finally to provide suggestion or recommendation to the industry. So if your flow of objectives is like this, the first objective is to study, to second objective is to identify the factors and variables, your third objective is to analyze, the fourth objective is to estimate, your fifth objective related to something like research gap what you have identified, and finally to provide suggestion. If all these aspects are going to combine, your flow of objective will be absolutely beautiful. You see, to study, to identify, to analyze, to estimate, and to provide suggestion. See the flow. Because most often when I see the objective, it's like the first objective itself will start like to analyze. Without even understanding and studying the concept, how will you analyze in the very first instance? And the second objective will be something like to investigate. The fourth object, there won't be any sequential flow. So I suggest to have a flow in the objective. First to study, identify, then study, identify, analyze, estimate, and provide suggestion. So have a flow like this. So by this way, you may have better able to provide a clear objectives that has a sequential meaning. So this is very important. So now you have understood how to frame a research title. Now you have understood how to frame an objectives for the study. So am I clear till now?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, tell me, Ma.
Yeah. So can you please give us an example, like how to frame
Just a
objective?
minute, ma. Just a minute, ma. Your voice is so low. I think let me put the microphone.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah. Hello?
So we just want an example, like how to frame the objective. Like you said, it should be an
Just a minute, ma. Just a minute, ma. Just hold on a minute. Just hold on a minute. Because I am still. Uh, yeah. Anyone, please speak.
Sir, we just want to know, can you please give us an example like how to frame objectives? One of the examples from your research paper or your research study, like
Oh, you
how
want?
to
Still, I'm actually hearing it via speaker. So I'm just uh, can I do?
Sir, actually, we want examples.
She want examples. She want example. Okay, ma. Okay, ma. Let me present my entire screen and I will tell you. Okay. Uh, yeah. In the chat box, you tell me what was your research title, ma. What is your research title, please? So that I will give objectives for your own research title itself. Level of stress and binge eating, HRIS and its work-related outcome. Okay, human resource information system, I think so. Am I right, ma? Komal Yadav, am I right? Okay, so let me share the entire screen so that everything is visible. Uh, is my entire screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So for Komal, his title is related to HRIS, right?
sir.
For Komal, his title is related to HRIS and its work related outcome. So how to frame a research title? So let us see in detail itself. So in the first, to study, right? To study. Then is to identify the factors, to analyze, to estimate. So this is what I'm going to write. To identify, to analyze, to estimate. Okay. So work related outcome, I think it's in IT industry. Let us consider this as an IT industry, ma. Okay. To study and understand the concept of HR, that is, you need to write fully, human resource, so information system in context with IT industry in say for example he is going to study in Bangalore city, so as Bangalore city. So this is going to be our first objective, and the second objective is to identify the factors associated with HRIS, that is human resource information system, to identify the factors associated with human resource information system and human resource and actually we cannot say work related outcome. There is a technical term called as performance outcome. performance or we can say as employee performance. So this is a technical term. So instead of work related, which is completely colloquial, so let me complete as so identify the factors associated with the human resource information system and employee performance. To analyze the impact of human resource information system on employee performance in IT at Bangalore City to estimate the effect of employee performance on organizational outcome or something and other factors what you're going to may study in IT industry at Bangalore City and to offer possible suggestions for the betterment of IT industry at or in Bangalore City. So as simple as this, if you're going to go with the flow, you may easily able to write a clear objective. I know there is little bit of scrutinization is required here, but you see 90% of your objective is done with clarity without much effort. So you need to start with your study and understand to identify the factors, to analyze, to estimate, and estimation should be related to some other sub factors what you are identified. And research gap also should be another objective that has to be added as a fifth objective, if possible. And the fifth one is obviously about you need to give an offer, recommendation, or suggestion. So this is how the flow has to be. Is it clear, ma? Are you now clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma. So now let's
Yes,
move on to the very important topic, that is research methodology, where 60 to 70 or 80% of your research question will be posted in the Viva in the research methodology only. So have a keen attention. Let me stop sharing this. Let me share my PPT. Okay. Is it visible, ma?
yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I want this interaction till the end of the day. So that I may able to know whether I am technically sound or what. So because generally I used to go offline. Okay. Okay then. So now we are going to talk about research methodology. I tell you what, research methodology is very, very simple to understand now. Provided you should know the fundamental things. I don't want you to read the entire research Kothari book or the Krishnasamy Award. But I tell you what, if you're going to pay attention for next 30 minutes or next 15 minutes, that is 100% sufficient for you to choose a right research methodology. So kindly pay a keen attention. First, when it comes to research methodology, you may completely encapsulate the entire research methodology in just 7 topics. Research design, the very first topic. The second is a study area. Third is a sample. Fourth is a sample size. Fifth is the sampling technique. And sixth is the data collection instrument. And finally is the reliability and validity. If you could able to know these 7 points and its sub points, I tell you what, you are 100% have knowledge about the research methodology. That's it. So what is this research design? So research design is basically blueprint, or we can say, no need to say in an academic way. I tell you what, research design illustrates what kind of research methodology or blueprint you are adopted, as simple as this. I tell you what, there are only limited types of research designs, ma'am. Say, for example, there is descriptive research design, analytical research design, exploratory, empirical, quantitative, qualitative, applied or diagnostic, experimental, and causal research design. These are the different types of research design. You can make any combination of these research designs. Those are called as mixed research design. That there is something called as longitudinal research design also, but we are not into much focus on those kind of research design. Actually, these are predominantly, and you can encapsulate all kind of research designs within these things. Say, for example, if you're conducting HR, say the very same example for Komal Yadav. He is into a research of human resource information system. So his respondents is IT employees. He is going to conduct a survey. Say, for example, after framing a questionnaire, he is going to conduct a survey using the structured questionnaire. So these kind of research design is called as descriptive research design. If Komal Yadav is going to conduct a survey, then he is adopting descriptive research design. The second is the analytical research design. Say, for example, Komal Yadav, say the same Komal Yadav is going to conduct a research using using the stock market data, which means he already has the stock market data, the stock price movements. All the data are already there. So he using the secondary data, he's going to make further analysis to get further more insightful information. So this kind of analysis is called as analytical research design. Is it clear, ma? Is the two research design clear? Because these are predominantly used. So descriptive is nothing but you going to the field, you are taking a survey, that is descriptive research design. And in case if you already have a data, say for example, profit or loss statement, and you have financial data, you have stock price movement data, every data you have, but with those data, if you're going to make analysis and find further more insightful information, then the research design what you have adopted is analytical research design. For some cases, you may use descriptive and analytical research design to combine. So this we can say it also mixed research design. Then comes exploratory research design. Say for example, we have Deepa. So Deepa is a management graduate. Say for example, she is pursuing PhD in management, but she wanted to know something about Tamil literature, which is completely unknown field or unknown area. So if she is going to conduct a research in Tamil literature, which is not at all her own interest or his research thrust area, then those kind of research carried out by the Deepa is nothing but exploratory research design. Which means you are now only going to explore an unknown area which is completely unknown to you. That is what is exploratory research design. Then comes empirical research design. Say, for example, you are working. Say, I am working in an academic department where I deal with distance education and online education from various countries. So I used to have so I'm going to conduct a research with respect to three modes of education. Say, how effective is the online mode of education? How effective is the distance mode of education? How effective is the regular mode of education? So I have experience in academic field. I have experience in online education. I have experience in distance education. I also have experience in regular mode of education. So with my experience, with my observation, with my own experimentation, if I have a significant amount of experience and if I'm going to conduct a research on that particular area, then it is called as empirical research design. So is it clear, ma? Then comes quantitative. Quantitative is once again very similar to analytical research design. Sometimes you can use vice versa. That is, you may use complement to analytical research design. Similarly, qualitative research design. These are unmeasurable. Say, for example, you can measure the satisfactory of the
customer using a Likert scale. But if yes, but that is not the exact number. That is what is qualitative research design. Say, for example, if you wanted to measure the satisfaction, if you wanted to measure the say the level of acceptance for a particular topic. So at that point of time, you use your own Likert scale or something like that. Yeah, just hold on a minute, ma. Yeah, that is called as qualitative research design. Say, for example, you are into an organization, you are working as an employee in an organization, you have encountered a problem, you have encountered a problem, and you wanted to find a solution and you are conducting a research. So that kind of research is called as applied or diagnostic research. And next is experimental research. All that is done in a controlled or uncontrolled environment, like in a laboratory. So you do experiments. And comes causal research design. This is what is the thing what you asked, Ma. So what is a causal research? Causal research is nothing but, is identifying the relationship between the two or more variables considered for the study. And it's nothing, and it's like you are finding the cause and effect relationship. What is causing that, and what is the effect of those cause? So that is what is causal relationship. This is also called as ex post or rare or something like cause and effect study. So these all are the different types of research design, Ma. I think, Monica, I just answered you. So if you wanted to find out a relationship between the two variables or the cause and effect or something, the momentum of the two variables, those kind of research design is called as the causal research. So there are different kinds of research design, and the thing is that to find the relationship between the two variables, if you are going to two variable here, you cannot use the research design mark. You need to just make correlation analysis for your understanding. Komal Yadav, if you are going to conduct a research, sorry, Monica, if you are going to, if you want to find a relationship between the two variables, here the research design doesn't place ma. Here you need to find you need to perform a correlation analysis that I will teach you in order to find whether the two variables are related to one another or to what percentage, whether they're positively correlated or negatively correlated. Here the research design won't work. Okay, so research design in an overall view, it's an overall bird's eye view of what kind of research methodology you have adopted for the study. Whether you have took the survey, or you have took the secondary data and made an analysis, or you are completely explored and given a conclusion, or whether you have experience and you conducted the research like empirical research, and you have found a problem in your organization and you are going to find a solution using the research that is called as applied. Experimental is conducting in a laboratory in a controlled or uncontrolled environment. Cause and effect is nothing but a causal research. So descriptive is survey, analytical is using secondary data, exploratory research design is exploring unknown areas, empirical is that you are having an experience in the particular area and you are conducting the research, and quantitative and qualitative is very similar to analytical and descriptive, but qualitative means you are using a Likert scale or some other scale to quantify the qualitative data. Then applied research is nothing but you are finding the solution for a problem. Experimental research design is nothing but the best example is research conducted in a laboratory in controlled or uncontrolled environment. Causal comparative research design is also called as ex post facto research or cause and effect relationship. So these are the different types of research design. So first, when it comes to research methodology, you will be asked what kind of research design you have adopted. So using these knowledge, you will be able to know what kind of research design need to be adopted for your study. Then coming to the study area. The study area is very, very important, Mark. Actually, many things study area is nothing but the area where we have conducted the study.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry for inconvenience.
No, Shiva. Yeah, please.
Can you explain about normative research design? Yeah,
What
because I saw so many normative design.
Normative.
Yes.
Okay, I tell you what this normative research design is all about, ma. Actually, mm, it's like what do I say? With an example means uh, it's like it's for example, if you are an investor, ma, say if you are an investor, at that point of time, it's like you will see the volatility, right? You will see the volatility of movement of stocks, right? Are you getting me, Sitaraman?
Yes, sir, I'm getting.
Yeah. So in case if the volatility is too high, if it doesn't come fit into a normal distribution curve, will you invest? No, right?
Yes, got it, got it.
Because the risk comes under analytical research design, ma. I tell you what, normative research design is in fact, it's a very subtopic of analytical research design. Because when it comes to analytical research design, the very first thing what we do in statistics is we will check for the normal distribution. So making the normal distribution analysis itself as a predominant or preliminary function is a normative research design, generally done stock movements and to find especially in investment area. Okay, so I tell you
Sir,
what, don't get confused with PDRs. Yeah,
sir, I have something to add. Sir, as far as
yeah,
my
please,
knowledge
ma.
goes, sir, normative research focuses on like establishing some standard forms, guidelines based on some value judgment or ideas. So that is what, sir, it involves evaluating
Hmm.
how things should be rather than describing how things are. So it is basically related with practice of law, political science, or ethics or philosophy, sir. That kind of research covers the normative research.
Madam, I have a query.
Yeah.
Uh, the normative designs will be differ based on the disciplinaries, or it's common for all the disciplinary?
It depends upon the discipline you are picking up. See, if I'm doing research in political science, so the flow will be that only. If it is related to ethics, so here what you
Yes,
are going to do,
actually,
you are setting standards, you are evaluating the practices based on the question response you are taking, and then you are prescribing a solution for the group of respondents. Okay.
Okay,
yes.
okay, ma'am, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is what is the thing. Yeah. Actually, yeah, as ma'am stated, that is what is normative research, but it changes. It changes with the different discipline. Okay, ma. Then coming to the study area. Study area generally falls into two different categories. One is physical environment. Say, for example, if I'm going to study only with respect to, say, for example, if I'm going to do a study on a political science, I wanted to know whether this particular law is right or what. So I'm going to get an opinion of many lawyers. So within Chennai region. So this is a physical location. So that is what is one study area. The other part of the study area is nothing but the chosen the research area. What I choose is also known as a study area based on the relevant, because I'm going to study about that particular law, right? So that is also known as a study area. So study area typically means two aspects. One aspect illustrates which location is all about, and study area can also be the chosen the relevance of research where you are going to conduct a study. So this is a second important aspect. Then comes the sample. Because you can't conduct a study with respect to the entire population. Say, for example, if you wanted to know how far you are satisfied with Amazon or other online e-commerce platform, it's completely impossible with even with respect to India, because there are billions of users. So you obviously you need to select a sample. In order to select a sample, you should from the large population, you need to make sure that you choose the right sample. So the sample is nothing but a representative of the entire population, as simple as this. So when someone asks you who is your sample, you should be in a position to define that. Let's say, for example, your sample is online e-commerce platform user. So you should be in a position to say that I have chosen the sample respondents as the one who uses e-commerce platform for past 3 or 4 years for their online shopping and regular shopping. So this is how you has to be in a specific. So because the more specific you are with a sample while you are picking up, you may better able to come up with the right result. So that's very important. So because the sample are representative of the entire population. So taking this into consideration, we need to make sure that it clearly illustrates the population. They clearly illustrate the population, you get your appropriate result. So in order to determine the sample size, many make confusions that how to determine the sample size. I tell you what, there are only two aspects. If the population is known, you need to adopt the formula, this one, that is n equal to n into z square p into 1 minus margin and n minus 1 z square into p minus 1 minus p. That is, the p here represents the proportion that is generally taken as 0.5 for most of the social science studies, and it varies with respect to the studies. Say for example, you are going to conduct a study with respect to physical studies. So you are a PT teacher, you have selected nearly 60 respondents during the past year, and 52 population as a population in day before year, that is 2 years before, and you know the exact population. So if you know the exact population, you can use the known population formula. And in case, if you don't know the population, say for example, Amazon users in India, obviously it goes beyond lakhs and you don't know the exact population. So, at that point of time, you can use Z square into P into 1 minus P by the E square, that is error square. If you calculate this, you will be getting the value of 385, which means if your population is unknown, the 385 is the minimum sample size you need to take for your study. And if the population is known, obviously you need to put the value here. Instead of n value, you need to put the population size and you need to calculate the value. Calculate the sample size value. So the capital N represents the population value. So this formula, you can see it in the Kothari itself. So using this formula, you may be able to determine the sample size. So I tell you, you may have a question, why the unknown population, the minimum sample size is 385? Say for example, for this, I think I need to present my screen once again. Sorry. Yeah. Is my screen visible, ma? No, right?
No, sir.
Okay. So this is a this is a website to estimate our sample size, ma. So you see, say for example, you can also use this website to estimate your sample size, and even in YY, if someone asks you how you determine your sample size, you can code this. This is completely no raw soft calculator. 3,000, I need to select a sample of 377. If my population is 2,000, I need to select 323. In case if my population is 2 lakh, I need to select 384. If it's 20 lakh, 385. If it's 2 crore, it's once again 385. It's another 0. 20 crore, it's once again 385. If it's 200 crores, once again 385. So even if it goes beyond 200 crores, it's once again 385. It means if your sample size is unknown and if it goes beyond lakhs, it is advisable to take a sample size at least of 385. So this is how the 385 as a minimum sample size got much used in the management studies. Okay. So if your population size is unknown and you know that obviously if it's of 20,000 and 10,000, obviously you will be having a database. Say for example, if I wanted to know the how many exporters are there in Tamil Nadu with respect to processed food products, obviously I could get the data set in the EPIDA. Similarly, you have all the websites. If it's 10 or 20,000, but if it goes beyond lakhs, if you have the number of employees in IT industry, which is completely unknown, hiring, firing also taking place. So taking this into consideration, if the population size is 1 lakh, it is advisable to go a minimum sample size of 385. So yeah, let me stop. Okay, so this is how you need to determine the sample size. And when it comes to sampling technique, so there are 2 types of sampling technique once again. So it is here mostly they will be asking. So there are, when it comes to probability sampling, it is simple random sampling technique is there, which means assigning equal values, equal weightage to all the respondents. And when there is something called as a stratified sampling in the sense it's like it's a method that involves division of population to smaller groups, which is known as strata. So and from the strata you are going to consider one for your study. You are going to consider a representative from each individual strata to be considered for the study. And similarly, the systematic sampling is nothing but you are taking a sample from, say, for example, there are 100 houses, you need to take 10 samples. So what you do, for every 10 houses, you take one house as your sample. That is what is called as systematic sampling. And comes cluster sampling. So cluster sampling is nothing but it's completely, it's like, what do I say? In cluster sampling, it's like here in stratified sampling, you will be having a homogeneous group. Whereas in cluster, you will be having a heterogeneous group, the combination of all things. So what you do, you choose a particular group for your study. That is what is called as cluster sampling. Then comes multi-stage sampling. Multi-stage sampling was generally carried out in a place where you're going to study, say for example, in Tamil Nadu, you are going to consider on various districts, and also you are going to consider among the districts, you are going to consider various taluks. So if it has n number of stages, you will be considering multi-stage sampling. And non-probability sampling is like it's completely opposite. You are doing with a convenience. So which means based on your convenience, if you're going to collect a data, or based on your judgment, which is not a judgmental or purposive sampling. Yeah, he will be suitable for our study, so let me choose him. So these kind of things called a judgmental. And quota is something like you will be having 1 or 2 questions. Say for example, if you wanted to know the employees, you wanted to know the intention of the IT employees who is more than 5 years experience. You first, what you do, you go to IT employee. First question, what you ask, do you have more than 5 years experience? That is what is the quota sampling. First, you give a quota, and then you classify the respondents, and from the who fulfills the quota will be considered for the study. Snowball sampling is like something investigation like. Say for example, you are into a study of drugs. A person who is affected by the drugs or who is substance abused. So what you do, you go to one person who you know as a substance abused. So from him, he may have his own contacts. So what you do is that you will ask him, do you know any other person who is similar to you who have faced substance abuse? So he will be pointing out someone, and once again you go to them, and he will be pointing out some other one. So going like this is called a snowball sampling. So when it comes to sampling technique, you most probably you will be using probability or non-probability sampling. So these are the different types of sampling techniques. And data collection instruments, once again, most predominantly when it comes to social science studies, you will be using questionnaire. This can be structured or unstructured. You simply will be having a question in your mind, or it will be in a structured format, or you will be collecting data using interview, a face-to-face interview, or a telephonic interview, yeah, unstructured or structured interview, or based on observation when you do experiments in a laboratory, or survey, that is using a standardized questionnaire, a structured questionnaire, or using some kind of scales and experiments. So these are the different ways you may able to collect the data. And to check the reliability, the most important thing what you could use is the Cron-Batch alpha test, which is completely statistical, that helps in measurement of internal consistency. This I will teach you during the SPSS class, how to do that. So here also many people makes mistake, because I have seen many researchers do Cron-Batch alpha test considering all the questions together. No, that should not be done. You need to consider for each and every factor. That's very, very important. And if you have nearly 4 factors, you need to do the Cron-Batch alpha test for 4 factors separately, and you need to represent those values separately, not as a single value. That is not at all right. And test and retest, this is a manual method, which means you are conducting the same, you are asking the same question to the same respondent at a different point of time. But these are not at all acceptable as far as research is concerned in current point of time. You need to have some evidence. And then comes inter-rater, which means you give the same question, but twisted in some other way in a different factors. So these are the different ways, but the most acceptable thing is the Cron-Batch alpha test. If you're going to deal with secondary data, there it's completely different. There you won't be doing a reliability statistics, there you will be checking the normality. So these are the different way you can check the reliability. So today, now let me recall. So when it comes to research title, I told you, make sure you have interest, make sure it's feasible, or you may able to complete your research on time. So look at the time feasibility, financial affordability, whether you could able to afford your own research, what you have framed, and you may need to make sure there is existing review. And while framing the research title, first you need to write the topic, followed by the industry, and followed by the study area. If you're going to frame this, your research title will be clean and clear. And when it comes to objective, the objective should have a good flow. The objective is what your is primarily explains what you're investigating. So when it comes to our objectives, you need to make sure it has a good flow. Good flow in the sense, the first to be studied, to identify, to analyze, to estimate, and to provide suggestion. This is an example what I could give, but for a different some kind of research, for every kind of research, this is not feasible. But for most, if you go with this flow, it will be apt. When it comes to research methodology, the 7 important aspects of research design, which is nothing but the descriptive, analytical, exploratory, empirical, quantitative, qualitative, applied, experimental, and causal research designs. These most research designs comes or falls under these categories only. And study area, this not only this can be confined to a physical location or your research area. And the sample is nothing but a representative of the population. So you need to be in a position to properly illustrate who is your right sample. And when it comes to determining the sample size for known population, this is the formula what you could adopt. And if it's unknown, then you need to adopt this formula where P is 0.5 and Q is 0.5. I hope you know about that. on the sampling technique. So when it comes to sampling technique, there are two types of sampling technique. One is probability and non-probability. So when it comes to probability sampling technique, you have simple, stratified, systematic, cluster, and multi, and there are and when it comes to non-probability, that is convenience, judgmental or purposive quota, and snowballing. So data collection instruments. So generally we use questionnaire or interviews or observation or survey. Sometimes if you are dealing with science, we do experiments. And if you're doing dealing with something related to satisfaction or something like that, we go with scales. Sometimes we record. So when it comes to reliability, the most acceptable is Cronbach alpha test, where you will be measuring the internal consistency of your factor and all the variables therein using the statistical method. And other things are not much given importance, but sometimes it can be used. Say for example, split half is a method where the same questions will be asked in a different manner, and you will check whether the same answers, or I mean the same values are given by the same respondents at two different parts. So that is what is a split half. And parallel forms, reliability, internal consistency, all are same, all are once again comes under the same aspects. So with this, I hope I have explained to you how to frame the research title, how to frame the research objective, and what this research methodology is all about. So is everything clear, Ma? Do
Sir,
anyone have any doubts?
excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please, Ma.
Yeah. The time is running out. Thank you so much. I just wanted to ask a few questions. So actually, I have already typed in the chat box as well. Sir, I'm from Manipur, and then my study topic is socioeconomic status and domestic violence among the Kom and Karam tribes of Churachandpur and Kangpokpi district. So, and my objectives are to study the socioeconomic profile of the given two tribes, and to study the different forms of violence faced by the women of the selected two tribes, and to find out the relationship between the socioeconomic aspects and domestic violence faced by the women of the two selected tribes. And the last objective is to identify the contributing factors to domestic violence in a tribal community. So my question is, sir, actually, the total population of the study, the total of population of Kom women, married Kom women, is above 1,000, and when it comes to Karam women, it's around only 300. So could you please tell me what sampling techniques should I use, and the statistical techniques that I should employ in my study, sir?
Okay, so statistical techniques is determined by the questionnaire what you're going to frame. Now let me answer the first half. That is, what kind of sampling techniques to be used? What is your sample size? So let me share the entire screen once again. I hope my entire screen is visible. Yeah. So you said your population size is 300.
Yes.
Your population size is 300. So it is recommended to take a sample of 169. And the minimum sample is 169, Ma. If you could be able to collect more than 169, then it is good. Okay. So it is always advisable to take a minimum sample of 169. So 169 is your sample size. So how to choose what kind of sampling technique need to be adopted? So the first and foremost is that you don't have two different set of populations. So you cannot use. I tell you what, the very answer lies the question what you ask. Say for example, if there are two or three different set of population, you can use stratified or the multi-stage. Stratified or cluster. You don't have those. You are going to take data only from the woman who is being harassed. So this is neglected. Stratified and cluster is neglected. So among 300, you can.
Excuse me, sir. Yeah, excuse me, sir. Actually, my study is for two tribes, sir. women of the two tribes. So the Kom women is above 1,000, and then the Karam women is only 309 in number total married
You
women.
have two different set of population. At
Yes,
that point
yes,
of
sir.
time, you can go for stratified random sampling, which means
Okay, sir.
clustering them. You can go for proportionate stratified random sampling, which means base one is 1,000 and another is 300. So proportionately, the 169 as a sample size, how you are going to derive is proportionately. So for 300, 169 you are going to collect. 169 samples you are going to collect. For 1,000 you are going to collect 278. So 169 plus 278 should be your sample size, and you are going to employ proportionate stratified sampling technique. So this is the best way. The best way to get to answer is that I actually you can also adopt simple random or other thing, but this will be the most appropriate way because you have two different set of population. You got me?
Yes, yes, sir.
So proportionate stratified will be more apt because you can't, if it's convenience, you cannot do many parametric tests statistically, judgmental, quota, snowball. You need to check the normality distribution curve and then you need to go. If it's probability sampling, which means you are giving equal importance. And the most important thing is that there is two groups. So it is better to go with stratified or cluster. Since you're going to consider proportionately based on two different sample size, go for stratified mark. Or you can also go for systematic, but you won't be doing systematic sampling in real time with respect to people, because if it's with respect to household, you can go for systematic sampling, but here you cannot do that.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, ma. Anyone, any other question, ma? Or can we wind up?
Sir, the site you have mentioned for sample collection, whether it's only for descriptive on any particular sample or any particular design, or it can be used for any design.
What is it, ma? I didn't get your question, please.
So the site you mentioned for sample calculation, whether it's applicable to a particular design or it can be used for any design.
No, ma. Research design and this was not related to one another. Say for example, in some study you will be using mixed research design. Sometimes you will be using longevity research design. Research design and sampling techniques are not at all related, ma.
Sir, not sampling, sir. Sample size I'm talking about.
Sample size, no, ma. Research design and sample size is purely determined by the population. If you know the population, then you need to adopt the known population size formula. If you don't know the population, then you need to adopt this formula. That's it. Here, research design is not at all going to play any role. Okay, ma. I think I have answered the question. Anyone, any other questions, ma? So can we wind up?
Sir,
what is it, ma?
So can we get the recordings of today workshop?
That you need to have a concern with the person who is conducting.
Yes.
Okay, man. I think you can get it. So anything else, man? Do you have any other questions? I hope all the concept what I illustrated is clean and clear. I hope you'd all. Is everything clear, ma? Do you have any doubts? Can you wind up?
Thank you so much, sir, for the workshop.
Thank you, ma. Okay, then we see. Thank you all. Thank you, God. We see. Take care. Bye.
Contact RCHUB International Foundation for Research and Education. WhatsApp 9888 231 231.